Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the 3-time world champion, the Zerg in the blue, the finisher. It's serO, facing off against arguably the best Protoss player in the world. In the red, the smiling assassin, we have herO. In a best of 7 Protoss versus Zerg showdown, and a test of whether serO's methods can withstand herO's madness. So before we get started, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button and maybe even subscribe. Help me counter the algorithm. Jimmy, what are we at? 1,714 likes on this video, on this cast, and I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I do with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. As serO forced to take his third base as the pesky probe getting in the way of things, making sure the Zerg build cannot be nearly as smooth as Zerg players would dream of. Whereas, on the other hand, sometimes I feel like herO's strategies are a result of how smooth the texture of his brain is. But which herO are we getting today? The herO who has gone nearly 50-50 with serO in the past? The player who can literally beat anyone, and we're still not sure how? Or is it going to be the Bronze League herO that is the inspiration for so many heart palpitations in the past? And it's probably both. It almost always in an extended series is both. For every time herO has a stroke of genius, he may have a literal stroke. For every time herO expands the meta and it seems worked out that he's 2 steps ahead of his opponent, we realize he was lapped the whole time. herO has always been on the bleeding double edge of Protoss. And that continues to this day. Whereas serO, on the other hand, is, serO. Must I pontificate? He'll take the third base. He's not going to go for the proxy hatch. Though the last time these two met, he drone rushed herO alongside Zerglings. He somehow pinpointed the only map where herO would go Nexus first, and he hit him with a drone rush, which somehow it doesn't even feel like cheese when serO does it. But we'll see how tolerant anyone is of lactose on this particular day. First Adept just wanders into the main, and this is part of the reason why you go for the early probe block. Between Oracles and Adepts, it's almost impossible for the Zerg to protect all their mineral lines simultaneously. The sheer maneuverability between the Shade and the Oracles sliding in makes it almost impossible to have your forces concentrated. You have Queens on either side, but Creep is pretty scarce in the middle. On top of the fact that you can keep even more tabs with early scouting. The Oracle itself, alongside Energy Recharge, which herO didn't use, but by the way, this is one of the last matches we'll be seeing on the old patch. The Intern, it seems like maybe just one, has released a new patch in StarCraft 2, and we're not going to talk about it today. Can find out more info and see me stream some of the games on the second channel, Winter Gaming TV, but as of next week, if you're watching this on the first day or two after the Oracle gets its obligatory 2 kills and gets out, then we're going to be seeing some new patch games. You can, of course, debate, and I encourage it, after liking and subscribing in the comments, how it may or may not have affected these matches. But just know that everything is as you think it is. And we'll see what the outcome ends up being. But honestly, it's not about the result, it's about the journey, especially with these 2 players. How does serO deal with herO's certain strategies? How does herO deal with his own potential mental blocks? And how does that drone feel about being the only one with a mandated work break? That was a struggle. Jimmy, edit that whole part out. That was a mess right there. But the meandering path of the Oracles is mostly deflected by the Queens as serO. His drone count, most of the reason for Oracle Adept early is not to get critical damage, but to make sure the Zerg is kept under control. There's no better way to scout your opponent than get up in their business and force them to show pretty much all the tech and all the units they have. And here, we see the Zerglings, we see the Queens congregating to deal with it. There's not much serO can do aggressively, but on defense, much better off with the Queens covering literally all the bases. In Overlord, dude. Overlord spots the very important tech transition. It may have been implied, But you never know if hero's gonna break out some crazy timing or stick with the standard play that he kind of invented, to be honest. It's gonna be blinking +1. Between the oracles to cover overhead and the blink stalkers on the ground, it leaves you with a lot of mobility before the Zerg really has enough units to overwhelm you. Later on, as potentially Hydras or just even Queens walking across the map become a threat, it's less capable of getting critical damage. But it looks like hero's quite invested. He's been pumping out stalkers. He's already got 10 of them. Revelation. Is it? What? Oh my. He just goes into the main, casually blinks up. There's gonna be a stasis as well, which triggers it with a couple Zerglings. Another stasis over the top, and the Queen's gonna try to drive the Oracles back. Hero just shift blinking out. And the Adepts into the third base will drag some of it away. The Stalker! Ooh, get off my creep! But Brenda, not now. Game 1, not now. 5 drones dead. The exact amount of workers that hero's ahead by. On top of the fact that obviously building units is directly preventing those drones. And behind it, a fleet beacon is on the way. Hero is teching up all the way to tier 3. 3? Yeah, I think we'll go with 3. Seems like the appropriate number of tech ups. Meanwhile, the Blink Stalkers outflanked. He recalls out. It includes the Oracles. This, well, he bit off more than he could chew, which is not hard to do when you don't have a mouth. Storm is on the way. Hydralisk Den, Infestation Pit for Serral on the other side. Charge. He's getting all the fixins here. And Serral will not have an army that can just attack before Storm. It's just not going to happen. He had... Hero, just for completely unknown reasons, had nothing in the wall. The Zerglings get in the main, and he only loses 2 probes, but of course the entire army comes back to chase the counterattack, and here's 4th base will be shut down. Hero. If Protoss was somehow magically provided 1 supply depot per game, Hero's win rate against Serral and all Zergs would go up by double digits. Most of his work to keep Serral at bay before he gets towards Hive Tech undercut by that oldest of potential mistakes, but as one of the oldest players in the game. 33 years young, Hero. You're like, well, that's not that old. Well, how's the back pain? And remember CD-ROM drives? Because I'm not sure Serral does. Serral's 27. Okay, he's not the young spring chicken anymore. But I digress. A mothership on the way. Hero was 69 probes, still a nice economy. It's the time that counterattack bought. It's the fact that there was nothing in the wall to stop it, and he select all armied. We've got an entire conclave of Templar here. Gonna have a new Assassin's Creed game coming out with that going on. Moving on. Better. Hero has already put me in a mood. I tried to put myself out of it. I think it bled through a little. Hero, I'm a huge Hero fan. Which means I don't have the emotional... Where are you going? Where are you going? That mothership is gliding in towards the main. A stasis! He just recalls absolutely everything! The tactical dunk! The stasis was not dealt. The stasis wall on the ramp! He can create a door for the Zerg, but not for himself! A bunch of Templar casually gliding in. He created a stasis force field. In what sort of Forrest Gumpian tactics is this? How does this work? The Hive is under attack. The drones are being eviscerated, and he still has the Nexus recall. The storms on the ramp are excruciating. Category 5. Somehow, this worked. 22 drones dead. The majority of the army slaughtered. And yes, herO will lose most of this, but guess what? The center base is taken out. The charge lots are scrambling. He can recall with the dregs, the survivors. One more Archon on the way, but herO is even on supply. He took out one of Serral's bases, 22 drones. That one stasis, if he doesn't have that stasis, Serral gets up the ramp. It's painful, but it isn't deadly. herO did not bring a sentry. There are no Ravagers. A force field would have served the same purpose, but a stasis did it so much better. It lasts longer, and there's no real counter to it. Your units are just frozen. Blocks of time that have just been cut out. herO giveth and herO taketh away. I already know there's going to be the comments about, like, why are you insulting the literal best Protoss player in the world? It's all right. If those Protoss players could read, they'd respond to you. But in 5 minutes, we saw herO lose most of his map position, his fourth base, and control of the game because he didn't have anything in the wall. And then we saw him turn the entire game around because he somehow created a wall to Serral's main. Well, and much in the same way, or at least the similar effect, that is so many zealots. That is the biggest fungal. He catches a legion of zealots. herO has 20 zealots, and he had more a few seconds ago, but they'll collapse on the lurkers. Not exactly the ideal unit to be chopping up, but they'll get the job done. And Serral, he lost so much economy, so much time. He has not been able to do any damage, and now Tempests are on, well, technically above the field. That mothership dunk. Serral was prepared for it, too. He had spores along the perimeter. He reacted quickly, but he just didn't quite pick off the stasis in time, and it was as bad as it could ever get. That mothership, looming large, unable to be abducted because, well, it just simply has too much mass. More cannons on the way. Serral, no, herO, raising the cannons per minute dramatically. And Serral is forced back onto his side of the map. He's just now getting a Spire to contest the Tempest. Hydra's only cosplay anti-air units. They're not particularly great at getting within the range since they have only like 2/3 of the range of the Tempest themselves. And of course, feedback just implodes the Viper, storms across the front line. And the Hydra's evaporating easily. Still, though, Serral stalling this out for now. There's not enough Tempest to push forward reliably. They're gonna start chipping away at the lurkers underground. The storms melting through more Zerglings. The Nidus gonna be attempted, but unfortunately there was already a cannon in place. The lurkers scrambling back. The mothership with active cloaking. Another infestor goes down. The Nidus screams into existence and then immediately to the unit's lost tab. The lurkers eviscerating so many of the zealots. herO still has so many zealots in his army. And again, he had more, but that's part of the reason Serral still has a shot to break this. There's only one Archon, only 2 Immortals. The ground army is relatively fragile here. The Tempests are paper tigers at the moment, but still with enough range. The Hydra slither by, the lunge, but unfortunately, vertically challenged. Not going to be able to chase. herO's micro... What is this? What am I watching? Na 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 na. Did herO find the only way to lose his Tempest to Hydras? I mean, it's painful. The mothership to save the day! The Tempest will die anyways, but so will many of the lurkers on the... You know what? Everyone dies. herO tries to save the Tempest, but he dug too deep and too greedily. The time warp on the ramp will ward away any more counterattacks, but Serral's starting to chip away at the sides. The probes getting sliced, and the defense is getting diced. And so far, herO unable to pick a fight because he literally can't see. Which explains a lot. Escape Nidus. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage, brother. Serral leaves one behind just to buy a little more time. and the reinforcing Nidus. Serral with nothing in the bank, 80 drones, but he's reestablished that 5th base. Equal economy to herO, but he's been able to outmaneuver him. Nidus is screaming out. Serral has committed a lot of his Hydras here. The Nidus... Wait, is that an escape? No, he doesn't have an escape Nidus, but he does get away. hero's holding on. He's got 5 Tempests and counting. Tectonic destabilizers for that extra damage to buildings for the Tempests. More Overlords on the way. Lurker taking the wrong path. Serral trying to... Thing is, herO had so much time to set up. There's so many cannons, so many Templar. herO already had 5 bases by the time Serral was able to really get any sort of counter damage. And now, the escape Nidus is. The Hive is halfway dead. As we were pointing out before. Is that Void Rays? Flux Veins. herO gonna throw Void Rays into the mix as a direct counter to Corruptors and almost nothing else. They're just kind of mediocre at most other things. They're not great against Hydras, but they're very good at directly engaging Corruptors. The Nidus is spewing out more reinforcements and decides to regurgitate them very quickly. Well, the Death Ball has been put together, but herO doesn't have much in the bank. Serral is starting to increment out. His upgrades are quite mediocre. +2 ranged attack, +1 Carapace working on 2. Meanwhile, herO has +3, 2, 1 on the ground. And he's working on +2 in the air. He has not been... He's just been pressing all the buttons. And this is a very difficult army to deal with directly. The active cloaking, but there are some Overseers in the way. The Storm will ward them. The Corruptors from the back. And just blasting the base. One more volley will do it. The Storms. There are 5 Observers with this army. And all of them got hit by one of the Storms. He did manage to keep them alive, though. Fragile creatures. I don't think herO has any oracles because he knows his limits. Most players will use oracles for revelation, but herO just builds more observers than the Eye of Sauron. Okay, shut up, herO. Stop it. herO starts 2 oracles. I heard you was talking shit. What a revelation. How dare you. herO's just playing to make me look bad. Like and subscribe if you agree. The Lurker's gonna deny the bottom right corner. Again, Serral still has to deal with the army. Which... That's a ponderous effort. And honestly, the Void Ray is doing quite good at helping knock out both the Nidus and the Lurkers. Just 3 casual Void Rays mixed in. But... Oh, the Oracles are here as well. Let's see how many control groups herO has. He's got one for his army. He's got one for his Templar. And that's really all you need, to be honest. Serral. 1, 2, 3, 4 Queens, Hatcheries, Nidus, but... Okay. Serral doesn't have much in the bank. He needs to take an incredibly cost-effective fight. He has not been able... Has he killed a single Nexus? No. He has not been able to deny herO's economy. So, at some point... the cannons. Mass cannons out of herO. He's gonna have, like, 30. The Lurkers are chipping away at him, but... He needs to deal with the... herO just used Revelation on his own army. The second one was more on the mark. I saw that, herO. Alright. The hatchery just gonna kind of die instantly. A bunch of the drones left behind. Lurker's doing damage on the other side. May actually take out one of the next side, but The storm front across the entire board. The parasitic bomb is doing maximum damage. It was cast on the mothership and everything clumped up. I don't know if there's one to follow it up. The shields have been stripped away. And Serral starting to chew at the economy itself, but the storms, the corruptors trying to close the distance, but the ground army with Archons underneath. Serral, an accented GG, and herO pounds his way through in another roller coaster match. Manages to keep Serral off guard, build up the death ball, and with a very competent execution in every sense of the word. Oh, herO. From not walling off to walling off, I can't believe that was the best stasis of the year. All right, that was the most important stasis of herO's career. It's up there. And with literally 50 things going on, you can't blame Serral for not seeing it or dealing with it. Or maybe he thought he already dealt with it. But it just hit perfectly. It could not have been much better. Literally walling off the entire ramp. So, we move in to game 2. herO 1, Serral 0. A rematch of Serral versus herO because Classic was unable to attend the playoffs in person of Maestros of the game. herO somehow, I feel like that's a metaphor for herO's play style and career. He gets into the top 4 because one of his competitors literally couldn't participate. Even when he's knocked out, he gets tapped back in. So here we are. Against the Serral who did some pretty spicy cheeses against him in their last series. It feels like he's learned his lesson. And that's the thing about Serral. Well, we've seen Serral drag games back before. But he took a massive hit. Any other player, I think, was in a near GG position there. But Serral managed to salvage it well enough to make it look good. But that is the exact stage of the game when Zerg is building up all their pieces. They need to have lurkers, nidus. They need to most important, it doesn't really matter what they have, okay? The tech is important because it's the tools with which you do this. You cannot let them get past 4 bases. As a Zerg, you can have 7, 8 bases and hammer on them. But herO got 5 bases before Serral did. Which, in and of itself, is disastrous. Like, that is, not a good sign for the Protoss. Or, I mean, for the Zerg. The common wisdom still applies of Zerg should always have, ideally, at least 1 more base. It's not as true as it once was, like in Wings of Liberty and Heart of the Swarm. The economies just scale up so quickly that there's no really limiting bases past the first 3, and that's a whole discussion. That's design discussion. But it's that 4th base that really unlocks the rest. Did you forget? herO forgot his 2nd pylon. And this is actually really rough because the Zerg, well, so Serral did not, you see the gateway building? You don't know that it's supply blocked. You just see the animation. So Serral's just assuming an adept will come out. herO 100% forgot his 2nd pylon. That is uncomfortably late on the Stalker. Serral literally could have walked in with Zerglings if he went straight across. Serral gave him the benefit of the doubt. I'm giving him doubt. And then well, hello there. The Zergling just pops in. Gonna see the... Well, he built a Stalker to deny the Overlord Scout. The Stalker was too late because he was supply blocked, and then when he went to chase the Overlord scout, a Zergling walked in and scouted anyways. Like, you couldn't have scripted this more ridiculously. And now he's building a Stargate after getting +1. What is this? herO, wake up! We've got a... Sometimes he's an evil genius, and sometimes he's just... Nope, that's it. +1... What am I watching? Like, this is not... He's hallucinating a warp... herO's... He's off the rails again. He's just making it up. You will not convince me that this was the plan. He is 100% freestyling it right now. Uh-huh. Like, he's got a supply-blocked Oracle, casual Sentry. He's like, I'm gonna hallucinate a Prism and convince Serral that it's glaive Adepts. But there was +1 with no Twilight when the Zergling got in. Serral's building a lot of roaches. Serral has no idea what's... Serral's hurting himself in his own confusion. This is so... What is happening? This is all over the place. And if you go too many directions at once, you don't get anywhere fast. But Serral is... he bought it. Whatever herO was selling, he bought it. Serral's only at 38 drones. There's going to be This is good. This build has been so bad, it's rolled around to good again. Because Serral is so convinced that it was like a Twilight into Robo timing. I think he actually sold him on the Warp Prism. There's no way Serral would just do a Ravagerling Bane timing against multiple Oracles. It just loses, assuming the Oracles are anywhere close to home, which is, well, they're not. They're about as far away as they could get. Serral is 100% all in right now. But herO does not have anything back at home. He's going to have 1 cannon, 2 Adept. There's nothing here. He recharges the Oracle. All right. Corrosive Vial is the only anti-air, which... Okay, good luck with that. He throws out the vials. Well, appears Serral is feeling lucky at the moment. No. Okay. He hits a double... No. 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 No! Are you fucking kidding me right now? I mean, yeah, if he kills all 3 Oracles with 3 Ravagers, herO had 1 job, and it was so easy. His only job was not lose the Oracles immediately. You're fired. Like, Serral had nothing behind this. If he loses 1 or even 2... What do you want from me? All he needed to do was keep... And it's not even... Serral keeps throwing him at the Oracles now because they keep hitting. They do not have homing. They do not have, like, any... They take, like, 3 years from the time you throw them up to put them down. But apparently herO couldn't move his controller thumbstick in the right direction in time. Imagine if he had 4 Oracles right now. Literally, Serral was so... herO has, again, completely dictated this game. He completely convinced Serral it was a Robo Twilight all-in. Serral did a roach lick. Lucille, you gonna say it? Fine. This is restricted lair space, and you can get off my creep. We don't like your kind of... Okay, okay. No, I'm gonna say it. It's a Hatchery Owners Association. We've had enough of you. Go rub your brain cells together somewhere else, you filthy Protoss. I don't... Oh, I'm sorry. I blacked out for a moment. Well, Serral's winning because when you kill the only units capable of defending with units that... Now, herO very likely would have lost the third. I'm giving him one Oracle. Like, one Oracle is probably gonna... But losing literally 5. 1 to the Queens, which was still kind of mediocre. And this was played in a LAN tournament. They have 5 ping. Maybe 10 if they're not playing on the LAN server kind of setup. This is not like Europe to Korea ping. This is chair to keyboard ping. And here comes Serral with the Ravager Langbane. Yes, the game continued because herO had such a lead. And he had Oracles. So that way he could actually... He lived throughout this. Despite the suffering critical losses. Though it seems very unlikely he'll withstand this wave. No Oracles above. Almost nothing in front of the Archons. Serral has the economy. herO successfully baited Serral. Now, I'm not convinced herO meant to do that build at all. He just completely freestyled it. And managed to convince Serral it wasn't all in. So Serral all in. And it worked. And the beauty of it is that herO had the counter. There's nothing more you can do. Like, in that scenario, there's nothing more he could have done besides micro the Oracles. And he did. I can't keep saying it. Like, it just keep... One to one. Really should be 2-0, in my opinion. Or at least that game should go on a lot longer. Like, Serral gets surprised by the Oracles, they whittle down the push, and they get driven back. That's how that's supposed to work. Like, Serral probably kills the third, gets a decent amount of probes, but he gets driven back, and now he has to contend with the Oracles, and we play it out. But if the Oracles get knocked out of the sky, that's no longer a problem. What is this? It's not your natural. What is this now? Oh no. A forge. It's a cannon rush. That's what we're doing. This reminds... So, can you fit a cannon there? It would be just like herO to try to cannon rush in a spot that he's never tried before. Serral obligingly took his Natry. herO doesn't know 100% that this is happening. Serral's sending his Overlord into... Well, he's gonna see it. That probe is... Oh my... Again, herO just draws the aggro of his opponent so well. Well, sound the horns, sound the alarms. The cannons are on the way. He's actually pulling the drones. He needs to make sure... Well, Serral's trying to make sure the cannons don't get in range of the hatch. Serral does not have... Like, this is gonna work. He cancels the first cannon. Wow. Okay. Now what? Wait, is that not in range of the hatch? Okay, it is. That second one? He's gonna build... I'm not even sure these cannons are... I think the second one is... I'm not sure about the third. He's keeping track of the only drone that slipped out. Again... Oh my. That second cannon is not in range! herO! And these two cannons are right next to each other, where Ravagers, again, can be a counter to multiple things at once. And cannons have an excuse. They can't micro out of the way. A Zealot comes out. The Queen pops out into one of the least comfortable situations. The Roach Warren. Well, the hatch is gonna go down. I don't know what happened to the other drone. Did he lose it? Yeah, it eventually died. The hatch will go down unceremoniously. There's 5 roaches on the way. Is this just gonna work? There's no way this just works. I'm gonna be so upset if this just works. One, it's gonna be a nightmare on the ladder. So Serral has roaches. herO does not have an expansion. And remember, he walled off the high ground, which means he doesn't even have a setup that can potentially save the low ground. He's got a Stargate on the way. Serral has an Overlord watching all this happening. A single Adept. The Ravagers are going to chunk through the cannons. But that Adept is going to take out 5% of the economy. All right. Goes for 10. Doesn't quite land it. Serral only has 20 drones. The cannons. Corrosive Bile very technically outranges cannons, but you have to kind of step your little toe into cannon range in order to fire it off. And if you want to see more Zerg toes, you can check out my Dronely fans after you like and subscribe. Patreon links in the description. Void Ray on the way. So now we figure out whether this was anything at all. This is the Stargate is an obvious choice. That doesn't make it a bad one. The Overlord going to be burnt out by the Void Ray. Serral's actually supply blocked off that, as this is an incredibly uncomfortable position as Zerg. He got his... The fact that he took his natural base, his second base, actually works... The Zealot comes back in for the creep. You're not going anywhere. There's no one coming to save you. The Zealot was real ambitious there, but there were no unit. Maybe he was hoping that Serral... You know what? I'm going to attribute a thought process that doesn't exist. The Queens... herO. One job. All you need to do is not lose the Oracle for free. It's still true. It was true last game. It's still true this game. A single roach slips by. That going into a Ravager Cocoon does nothing because Oracle's attack is technically spell damage, and Ravager Cocoons get a bunch of armor, and spells don't... Multiple drone saves with the transfuses. And a Nidus on the way. Another very obvious yet potentially effective choice. And herO hasn't spotted it. I mean, there's a long... Now, where's he gonna put it? He's gonna see it. Wait, did he see it? I mean, technically, yes. Practically, he saw a building. Doesn't know which building. herO is not acting like someone who saw a Nidus. All right. Ah, now. Better. All right, here we go. It's going to be a long-range super cheese. The Nidus is on the way. The Queens are popping in, and here we go. There's no static defense. There's 3 Oracles. The Queens, just 1? All right, oh, we've arrived. It took you long enough. It was like 3 seconds. Burning one of the Queens because there's no creep for transfuse yet. But there will be momentarily. Every second counts. The Void Ray strain in the Queen range. More shield batteries. Corrosive Bile gonna split the difference yet again. The shield batteries coming online. There's not that many Ravagers. Serral has been forced into this awkward all-in, but he has the tools to make it work. The Oracles with plenty of energy, but some of them drained. Well, okay, then it's not plenty of energy, is it? The shield battery's helping out. herO has 13 more workers right now. He's got Blink on the way. herO has real potential to just outright hold this. The shield batteries are knocked out. Wait, no. They live. Spore Crawlers on the way from herO. Slow links. The Oracle's waiting for their moment. The Queen's low on energy. There's only 4 of them left. It's not quite enough. That Void Ray finally taken down by the Spore. herO. Gonna chase down. Well, one of the Ravagers. Blink is about to be done. He even has +1. Why does herO have +1? Why not? He had a Forge. And he's blinking back. Goes a little deep. The shield batteries. Sipping on him. Shield energy recharge. Still 30. The cannon rush was enough. He just casually cannon rushed and beat down Serral. Serral was pigeonholed into the Nidus, like he didn't have the economy. I think it was his best chance, and it wasn't nearly enough. In fact, herO getting so greedy. If herO had figured it out a little earlier and started slapping down those batteries and cannons before the Nidus finished, I think that would be over very quickly. Instead, it was a bit of a slog because, of course. But, wow. herO returning fire from the last series between these two, where Serral did just a casual drone rush all in. herO breaks out the blind cannon rush. And Serral cannot deal with it. What a series. Oh my. And now we go to Golden Wall. Because of course we do. herO up 2-1. And I am loath to say it, but I feel like it really should be 3. herO's Forrest Gumpian school of Protoss who don't build good is working out perfectly for him. Serral is hurting himself in his confusion. Like, Serral keeps doing the right thing well after herO's already made a left turn. I don't even know what that means, but that's like the same level of direction that herO's builds usually have. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe herO has this sort of like Jedi mind trick level of understanding, not just over the game itself, but over philosophy and psychology. Doubt it. He just cannon rushed the world champion successfully. Yeah, the cannon rush didn't win the game. It almost never does at this level. Not since Has. Well. Anyways, Serral's taking the gold on Golden Wall. So, that's something. herO's going to mine the mineral wall and make his way down. Choking as hard as herO in game 2. This job is dangerous, alright? Like and subscribe so I can pay for health insurance. herO did build his second pylon this time. Meanwhile, Serral. He's not just gonna build a bunch of Zerglings and run in, right? So the mineral wall is mined out. Otherwise, the only way into the base is the front. There is a mineral wall down the center. Takes 2 trips. I guess Serral's just playing it out. Oh. Here we go. Setting it up. Oh my. This is why herO mined the mineral wall. Because now he can just harass the back of the gold base with a single adept. And technically the queens... Wait, can he do the queen teleport trick? I hope he doesn't, actually. He'll probably just die to adepts. But... if you place a creep tumor in exactly the right spot, it will push the... Oh. Here, there's Zerglings. Yeah. he juked him so hard with the recall that one adept will get away. Serral was so ready to outmaneuver the adepts, and herO just stood there because Zerg vision is based on movement. Can you wall this off with one adept? We're about to find out. Or maybe we aren't. It really depends. Single Oracle, though. Serral doesn't have a huge economy, but he does have the gold. Now what? We are so far off the rail. As soon as that stasis hit in game 1, this series went off a cliff. Not when the Zerglings ran in, when the stasis created a force field on Serral's ramp. I don't know if we'll ever recover. The oracles burninating across the countryside. The queens will politely yet firmly ask them to leave. They will for now. Where the hell is that sport? Oh, he's gonna... This is the saddest thing. Wait, is he gonna wall? Wait, does that work? Holy shit. Can he do that? Can he... So... Yes, it has collision while it's uprooted. It's not going to work because he doesn't have it in the right spot. But Serral could have walled in the adepts in the mineral line with an uprooted spore. And what? I don't know if I've ever seen that. I mean, I've seen the uprooted spore to wall adepts. But in this sort of scenario, now we've got the triumvirate of oracles. Now foracles on the way, continuing with even moracles in this series, for better or worse. So far, they've been pretty deplorable, but... there's still a chance to write a better history in the Loracles. The Spore's on the wrong side, though. The Queens somehow also. But one? Well, Brenda! Thank you. Oh. Ooh. There can only be one! herO's determined to lose every one of his oracles. At least these ones have been quite effective. Technically, he's only lost one. 2 queens, 10 drones, 13 lang, half a dozen adepts. Constantly scouting to see if the main base mineral wall is mined out. Well, now what? Serral's got a whole bunch of Zerglings. We're kind of converging into what is relatively standard. Zerglings with +1. herO does not have a forge at all this game, I think. No, he does. He's just not upgrading, of course. The Zerglings, the Oracle's overhead, but this is the... Blink was done about 3 seconds after he needed it. Every single stalker will be ripped to shreds, I say. herO stepped too far. And he was punished for it. He lost... Wow, so many stalkers. 9 stalkers for 27 Zerglings. Not exactly an ideal trade. Especially considering stalkers are partially protected by their critical mass. When you have more stalkers so they can protect the stalkers themselves and deny surface area to the Zerglings. But when the stalker count thins out, then the Zerglings are able to get the wraparound. And, ooh. Adept abandoned. That was the adept that survived the recall earlier, only to die in a very similar scenario. It's a literal nightmare. Serral How hard will he try to... Wow, what an angle here. How hard will he try to hold on to the gold? As he if he mines out the gold, he's still pretty far off. Several minutes of actually mining. Stasis, not able to get the wall off here. The Zerglings cutting off the reinforcements. There are 4 oracles overhead. Gets a revelation. Hydra speed is on the way to try to close the distance faster. Zerglings looking for the wrapper up of the oracles. Straight into the Hydras. Pin cushioning 1. A few already badly bruised. The Hydras just... What sort of campaign mission looking? Literally just units strewn across the field. I think Serral getting the better end of this exchange, but he only has 66 drones clearly focused on hitting this timing. Whereas herO is focused on not getting hit at all. Blinking here and there. Moracles on the way. 14 Banelings in production. Pretty much all Serral could build at that time. Even more. They're going to be spotted by the revelation. But there's no splash damage. It's just Stalkers and Oracles. And well, Banelings are great against Stalkers, but they help them, they break up the ball. And for now, the Oracle's just building stasis wards and ignoring the fight. And herO will get obliterated on the field while the Oracles are busy building their fancy stasis wards. Just abandoning the Stalkers, the probes, the 4th. It's a disaster for herO. It all just fell apart. 145 and another beautiful stasis. More Stalkers warped in. But herO loses his economy, a critical mass of his army. He's going to lose a bunch more oracles because, of course, he is. Energy recharge on the shield battery. But it's... Well... Serral slithers in and ties this series up. 2-2. What a mess. And I was very excited. Pardon my French in this French tournament. But herO inspires it. There was a real chance. It almost was the perfect timing for an uprooted Spore to physically block Adept Shades. That would have been like a career moment for that Spore Crawler. But, or Spore Crawlers across the world. You know, you're to shake the hand of your local Spore Crawler. Well, don't. Wear gloves. But I digress. 2-2. What a roller coaster we're on today. I don't want off this wild ride. I want game number 5. Pylon. This was the Meppy drone rush. Alright, this was where Serral... If herO goes Nexus first with no scout again, I am going to be very upset and also heartily amused. And also Serral's not doing it. Like, that's a once-a-career move from Serral. He's pinpointing the exact time he's going to drone rush. With Zerglings, 12 pool, but... herO does not do an early probe scout, but he also is not going for a Nexus first. So... Well. Now what? Serral has been trying to navigate the treacherous waters of this tumultuous series, but he has yet to find any sort of stability. The boat just keeps rocking. And now, the question still remains whether he'll sink or swim. I feel like that's still up to herO. I guess that's it, though. All the very best Protoss have been at least a little bit insane. Historically. I think the only exception is maybe stats. Like SOS, Parting, MC, Zest, herO. They've always been a little bit, like, at some point they may have a mental breakdown mid-game in a good way. They've all been players who will just pull the trigger, not caring where they're aiming. And sometimes that killer instinct, even if misguided, is successful. Like, Protoss units are so strong that a lot of the time, when you just send it, your opponent will flinch, including Serral. And also, between the warp-in mechanic and the significant differences between the tech, the wrong response can be fatal before you even know it. Did we just do the same thing again? Well, this time around, the Zergling will scout the Stargate. The Overlord baited the Stalker away. In other news, there's a Stalker first. So far, suspiciously standard from both sides. We've got the 3-hatch alongside the Stargate first. The Oracle, the Swiss Army knife of Protoss. Scouting. Damage. Utility. Despair. Let's not delay. Like and subscribe for existential. Why? Was it worth it? Loses a Stalker for an Overlord. Honestly, maybe. That is a very strong and warbly maybe. It's not like Serral needed to scout because the Overlord saw everything, but of course the Adept abandoned its post. Real fake doors by herO. Look, always open. Look over here, always open. None of these doors work. We never invented them. Hundreds of gates, 0 doors. Twilight Council on the way. Shady Bunch headed in. Oracle sips on a few drones on the way. Queens, not happy about it. As always, gets a few drones. Now in the orange, as the prophecy foretold. That's only the Twilight here. Nope. He just kept building Adepts. And here we are. He completes the shade near the ramp, not on it. Gets one. Okay. Well, does it? He actually cancels. And the Adepts are like, well, the drones will mineral walk and... Huh. Well, things are certainly speeding to a middle. I don't think that was worth it, but that probably means it was. It appears Serral's setting up for a German taxi. Wait. Oh, no, he's just gonna do the lane drop. I always just think Dropper Lords are German taxi builds for the Queens, but no. There's no Spore at this base, which could become quite a problem. Another drone. The Adepts just slipping and sliding in, buttered them up beforehand. What else do they have? Used to they have for butter, to be honest. Serral's still clearly scrambling to try to figure out what he's dealing with. But getting a few... This time, well, I mean, he could have just walked in. but this is way more fancy. The Zerglings are in the main base. herO reacts instantly. He may end up just losing the Stalkers, though. Okay, wait. Now what? Oh, the Zerglings go to the natural. As you might expect. Blink is done. Oh. Some shifty Stalkers. herO shift... Okay, well, he eventually gets into the main. Gonna slap down a stasis. Okay, stasis near the ramp. Serral. Think he learned his lesson. This is certainly a different situation as well. The Stalkers will shift blink out. I mean, kind of. Yeah, pretty smooth. Roach Warren with tunneling claws on the way. As herO flails around with his Stalkers some more. He actually has more workers right now, but he's still on 3 bases. Serral, he did lose his 4th, and his alternative 4th in the bottom left corner is going to be hit next. Templar Archives is only now on the way. There's still a lot of Stalkers. Serral's just going to send out a counterattack. Honestly, why even bother with Tunneling Claws? You could just walk in. Well, the healing on Tunneling Claws, the Burrow move. Because herO has a tendency to delay Storm almost indefinitely, so... Yeah, well, Serral decides that, I guess if the door's open, he's gonna recall all but one very unlucky Stalker. The Burrow move is gonna make this even more difficult to deal with. The 4th base is under attack. The Oracles don't have nearly enough energy to defend it. Gonna have to cancel this. The Roach is in the corner with Burrow. Does not cancel the 4th. And the Tunneling Claws. He revelates. But they've already gotten away. The Roaches living up to their name. And Serral has now retaken the initiative with the Tunneling Claws Roaches. herO had a scary army, but now there's far too much Zerg. There's no way he wins this fight. The Oracles may eventually grind down the Roaches, but this is not the same scenario as game number 2. Serral has... Well, he doesn't have plenty behind this, now that I look at it. Wait a second. Wait a second. Okay. Well, singular Roaches popping up. Serral actually lost so much there. This one... He's revelating his entire base, has yet to find the Roaches. Has he built a robo? No. We're just gonna keep stamping them out when they pop up. You never get all the Roaches. Serral trying to sneak a few more drones out, but... herO has 32 Stalkers right now. He must be very famous. Psy Storm on the way. Infestation Pit for Serral, and despite everyone's best efforts, it appears we're going to the late game. Wow. One of the craziest games, somehow so far, in a series that really should have been in the Asylum already. Lurker Den and a Hive on the way. Those Roach... Just now, herO just now, 10.5 minutes in, is building a robo. He's been dealing with Tunneling Claws Roaches for multiple minutes. And only now does he deem it necessary to build a robo. He's like, I'll just slap down a few more cannons. They've worked out so far. And you know what? Unfortunately, he's right. But the Roaches are in the main. herO retreating to the natural. That choke point working out for him. The Stalkers on the left. Roaches slowly chewing through. Storm is done. And this, well, the Templar are kind of on their own here. Loses 2 Oracles before the Storms can be cast. Meanwhile, these Roaches still, they're going to get the Assimilator. More Roaches on the right side. Blinks into his own Storm, but finishes off the rest. Stalkers optimistically warping in. One will survive. Another Oracle goes down as it wanders through the fray. The Stalkers blunking forward because no Hydra speed done. There's so many gateway units here. The roaches are slowly chewing through the economy, but the stalkers are much more quickly cutting through the army. Serral doesn't have that much at home. I mean, herO is pretty quickly losing his as well. The roaches have done so much damage. He's never stamped them out. There's still a couple storms left. Pretty okay. More storms. Obviously, Archons would be helpful if he can get there. Pulls the drones because at this point he's already done so much damage. The Stalker's blinking back. The Archon I don't think is gonna make it. Gets one attack off. And herO almost manages to navigate his... Well, okay, it's not over yet. He has an Immortal. He has Observers. These two roaches are still getting kills somehow. herO, a single Lurker belongs to the side. More Templar, though not enough energy for Storm. He can't kill the Lurker. And, well, there are more. They don't have range, but they don't need it. Templar falling back. The Storm's on the Hydra as he goes forward. It's not going to be enough, but it was so dangerously close to being so. herO with 45 supply. He committed everything. And it was probably the right move. Wow. Oh, Serral canceled his hive to get enough units. That's why he doesn't have range. He canceled everything to make sure he had enough units to barely survive. He cut off his legs to help his arms. And he was able to punch his way out. And now we'll regrow his legs because he's a Zerg and they can do that. They have so many legs. Where do you think they get them all from? Okay. But herO, I didn't hear no bell. All right, your mother ain't singing. It ain't over yet. And, well, he has half a dozen High Templars, some of which have multiple storms. He's got Immortals. He's got +3 ground weapons. And he's got a Dream. He may think he killed more. He has an Observer. He can see the drone count. Serral only has a 4th going on a 5th, though. The main base is mining out. It's not... No. Okay. Gonna try to get some of these creep tumors. Gets the Changeling catching strays. There is a Burrowedling. Serral putting it directly in the center. You don't even need to do that, but, you know, you can't help it. So the Zergling unburrows and kills the probe, but that actually allowed him to get the Nexus. Which I think is a win for herO. herO has 2 Observers. I have no idea. Wait, 1, 2, yeah. Honestly, if Serral hadn't unburrowed that Ling, who knows when the Nexus would have started, if ever. But now herO's going to attack with less than he had before against much, much more. A dozen Lurkers, 20 Hydras. It's not enough. But it is herO. Serral closing in. The Lurkers. He can maybe snipe off the Observers. The storms across everything. Everywhere. Serral weathers them easily, closes in, and cuts herO to pieces. JJ! Match point for Serral. Well. What a series. These two always have hectic games. herO is, I mean, obviously herO especially, but above, beyond, below, and beside. What an experience from... I don't know. We're going to Sandworm, because of course we are. With our sand spires. A tough map for Zerg if we get past a few bases, but herO with his very unique wall off, which isn't, by the way, his unique choke point creation. Some players will actually put the pylon in the middle between the two. herO goes with the lazy man's version of just putting the pylon on the side, which is fine, but has some clear weaknesses, which we've seen multiple times. Probe gonna be flirting with the minerals, trying to deny several mining trips. Serral counter-microing with his drones. The mineral patch does not discriminate, alright? Whoever comes up wants to mine. Tries to seduce the mineral patch into allowing them to mine some of those juicy minerals. It'll let them do it. But the probe is just flirting, alright? It's not actually trying to mine. Instead, it's just trying to get a taste. Just enough for the mineral patch to be like, hey, I'm taken to the drones. The drones, undeterred. Alright, they know. They know. They're not threatened by that probe, just annoyed. Though, I feel like Serral needs to have a bit of a healthy respect for the probes. Considering the circumstances in this series so far. I can't believe herO successfully cannon rushed Serral. I can, if anybody was going to do it. But... and it was such a slap it down and see what happens. Which, you know, can sound like a fun time, but... Zerglings. On the chase. Marginally faster than the probe. Until they get their vestigial wings. Got a Stargate on the way. Kind of hidden. And the Overlord. Well. Moving off the pervert pillar to creep everyone out. And decide, no, well. So the Overlord takes the angle directly away. No, you can't lose that Ovi. I mean, the Oracle's gonna come out and provide high ground vision. That's actually a supply block for Serral, which is quite unfortunate. He's already got Overlords on the way, but it cuts into everything. He's only got 28 drones. He's... what is... that's a fleet beacon! herO! It's just a Zergling rush. The Stalker... now we're gonna find out... herO does not have a third, which is kind of countered Serral's all in. Because hero's doing a Tempest rush. You know? Nope, nope, it's not. It's not a wall. Because of course, like... it just... that... what am I... well, a Zergling gets in the main. He's gonna scout the fleet beacon. The questionable angle of that wall is used to great effect by Serral, who just kind of shoves his way in. So that is the reason I was criticizing the architectural engineering here of herO, is the wall off to the side of the pylon leaves It's not clean, all right? But that's here in a nutshell, but... Now he's going for multiple Tempests. Because of course he is. Why wouldn't he be? Game, like, he is about to be eliminated from the tournament. He's like, I'm gonna Tempest Rush on a map where Queen Walk is the easiest thing to do. Here we go. And now Stasis in the main. Serral. 2 drones. 2 Tempests in production. The lair is on the way. The Queen's already moving to intercept. And... Oh, Brenda, get over here! No, they can fly. Remember when we could fly? Not today. Well, Tectonic Destabilizers is on the way. The building damage, which can help obliterate these spore crawlers. The spore scampers away. The Tempests, they one-shot drones, and it's not too many more shots to kill queens as well. Multiple volleys of... He's actually splitting the damage on the Tempest really well to maximize their effect. The Queens... I mean, you literally can't counter this without a Spire done. The Queens will just have to get in the way, physically trying to body block the shots. I'll put Karen in front. She could take a pound. All right, we all saw the video. I don't know. Brenda, please. Well, the Tempest getting kind of outflanked by the spores, but not really. Some of them in autumn colors now. Void Rays in production, anticipating the obvious corruptors. The spawning bull dies. And this is not getting much easier for Serral. He's got 55 drones, but that count is about to dwindle. And the Queen's coming down, but the Adepts just here to box out somewhat. Void Rays show up to the party. Oracle knocked out. The Tempests easily take out the third base. There's an alternative over to the side. Adepts slip through. There's so many Adepts. Like, the Spire's done. 6 drones dead. Serral plummets to a 10-worker lead. The Tempests, several knocked out before they can recall, but the Adepts keep sliding around. A Void Ray is very angry at the larva for existing. Is there any way these... Oh, no. God. Adept. Serral is getting... Oingo-boingoed here. That's a technical term? I hope it's not like an old-timey slur. It's one I made up. Well, it's not one I made up, but it seems appropriate here. Give him the old Oingo-boingo Adept Tempest timing. All right, just like Grandpa used to make. Oh, that's not a good sign. You know what? We're gonna put that one. YOLO B. We need some compliments that are actually insulting for herO. Like, herO seems like someone who would be just okay at Mario Kart. Or like, herO seems like someone who would be enthusiastic about using a spork. Or herO has an original Nickelback CD. He's old enough. herO has a CD player. Now we're just CDs. Tempests are still alive. The Corruptors on the other side of the map. herO's attacking. Despite the fact Serral has so much biomass, the Corruptors are just spraying and praying all over this. So he does kill the Nexus. I don't even know anything anymore. Serral is still scrambling to deal with the air army. There aren't enough corruptors to reliably knock this out of the sky, but there are 10 queens. Thing is, if he gets caught in the wrong spot, the Tempests and Void Rays are just unloading. And as long as the corrosive biles don't hit all of them stacked up in one spot, which we can't rule out. What in the... This is like a team game army. We got Void Rays, we got Blink Stalkers, we got Tempest. This is what every Diamond League 2v2 player pretends they can micro. herO looks like someone who enjoys team games and playing with his friends. herO has a long friends list and found that there's actually a max in-game. Fun fact. There's also a max on the block list, which I found quicker. Don't judge me. Like and subscribe, and you can be my parasocial friend. No, I will not respond. herO still moving out with an army that is not nearly enough to deal with what Serral has. Serral looked like a little surprised he would even have the hubris to do so. The Sand Spires actually doing a great job of funneling things. Gotta take down these... Wait, I think the tectonic destabilizers work against the rocks. They're all technically a connected health bar. It just looks like 4 different sets. Okay, yeah, that's good enough. Sure, I'm sure the probes will handle the rest. He's building disruptors. Sure, why not? I mean, it's not going to be Colossi with Mass Corruptor up there. Need his own Uptors to counter it. Disruptors for the first time in this matchup that I've seen in months. And this isn't even the new patch, as we already established. Hopefully early enough that people aren't going to ask the question 400 times. Or maybe they will, because they're so interested in knowing all the information. Thank you for being intellectually curious, but also deaf. Is that Stalker stuck? Help me, step probe! Oh wait, I can blink. He doesn't. Corrosive Bow, not enough. And herO, this looks like the probe is stuck. A prison of its own design. The Zergling counter. How is this a real game? Come on. herO with the Mass Stalker. He's got the disruptors in reserve. He fires off a shot. Does not connect. We're still looking for the big one. The disruptors. I mean, herO's maxed out, and he's got the gold. Serral does not have a... He does have a hive, but he doesn't have lurkers. Corrosive biles scattered throughout. Zergling counter will actually kill the gold. There's a bunch of these corruptors mixed in here, which will take out the air army, but are an inordinate amount of supply. The disruptors zoning out the ground. Guardian Shield helping out a lot. More disruptors wandering into the fray. Some immortals in the mix. 2-1 against just +1 melee. All the upgrades are in the mail right now for herO, but they have yet to be delivered. More in production. herO blanking back. Disruptor shots being flung out every which way. Mostly in the direction of Serral, thankfully. But the sheer amount of stalkers, he's grinding through it. The corruptors now melting one of the Nexi at the third. herO's gonna have almost no mining, but he still has a bunch of disruptors, and he's firing his balls directly into Serral's face, and Serral can't do anything but take it right now. He's managed it so well. The Stalker count is too damn high, +2 melee finishes. The Infestors are out. Does he have Neural Parasite? No. The only way at this point... GG! herO, again, leaves Serral looking lost. And not literally. I meant figuratively, but also literally. Or 3-3. In a game somehow even further off the deep end than any game we've had. Unit compositions we have not seen and may never see again. Tempest into Void Ray into Disruptor. I'm surprised we didn't see Blink DTs. The last time these two faced, the final game had Blink DTs. I'm remembering now. It was like 2 weeks ago. It wasn't that long. All right, but I'm old like herO. So that's a long time for me. So that's like, what are we even missing at this point? We haven't seen any carriers. The mothership was the most meaningful thing in the one game it showed up in. What else are we filling in? herO just sent a probe out at the beginning of the game. A 0 second mark. 0 to herO. He is making sure that he blocks the hatch. Or worse. Expelled. No. He even said, like, this definitely cuts into your mining. But the idea is you're also very much cutting into the Zerg mining. Madness. These two are crazy. How is it that herO... Well, herO has now gotten closer than any other Protoss. Well... I mean, herO is the third-ranked player in the world, behind Champion Serral. And he's proven it right here. The trifecta. I would usually say that Clem and Raynor are the only people who can challenge Serral. But while Clem and Raynor challenge his speed and his agility, Serral, herO challenges his mental health and his tenacity. It is so wildly different than watching Serral versus Raynor or Clem. I'm struggling to keep all these names in my head. So much rattling around and just falling out and becoming herO's build. And this is why he's the best, though. Like I said, every single top Protoss historically, with the mild exception of stats, the Shield of Iron, an exception proving the rule, has been, every top Protoss has been a killer. Walking a dangerous road. And potentially mentally unbalanced in some fashion. Actually, no, many of the Protoss, like Zest and, okay, I'm just thinking of Zest. I'm moving on from this thought process. We're moving to Game 7. We don't need any more meta discussion. The meta has not even gotten close to affecting this series. Through all the fire and fury of these two clashing again and again. Serral with his sword and shield, and herO with his pool noodle and pocket sand. They battle yet again, and for the last time on Tokamak. Unless it's a draw, and then we just play the same map again. So, technically, still true. Adept forcing the shade around. herO just gonna do 1 gate, 3 Nexus. Which, if you have an Oracle, you probably have the defense, and I don't think Serral's interested on this, our most macro of maps. Trying to punish it. Adept out there, pro meet and greet. Should have enough. Getting the Nexus early is safer than getting it later, when they could potentially put together enough units to cancel it as it's starting. And in fact, not only is he taking the Nexus, he's going so far as to potentially just kill off the Overlord. He doesn't have anything in the wall, but the Adept shades back. It was not a bad bet from Serral there. Oracles on the other side. There's spores. A Roach Warren in place. Twilight Council behind. It's not time for that. He's hiding the Twilight. No, don't do it again. No, that would be so cliche. It'd be so herO. The last time these two faced, the final game. I don't think it was game 7, but it was the final game because herO lost. Spoilers. I mean, not really, but herO went DT Rush into DT Blink, and he only lost because Serral killed like 17 probes with 1 Roach. He's gonna go Blink Rush. And now he's using the little mineral pockets in order to keep up stasis. Serral reacted. But wait, we've had first stasis. Have we had second stasis? No! No one expects second stasis. And again, herO just prancing around Serral's base with all his units. Serral unable to pin any of them down reliably. The Adepts get into the natural. They're going to get a couple drone kills. Which, I mean, is not huge, but they have an expiration date, which is usually around the 5-minute mark, so. Another one! Okay, it's time to stop. Have we had 7th stasis? You know, trying to recreate that feeling from the first game. Hydralisk Den is on the way. Serral trying to... He's got the 66 drone timing. That's full 3-base saturation. Maximum, most efficient. You can go over that. You can go over 16 workers on a base, even though it turns red. My Bronze League heroes. Quite literally here. But, this is the maximum return for minimum investment, is what I'm trying to say. Serral with 66 drones. But here comes herO. There's not a single Hydra on the field, though several in production. He might be able to cancel or destroy the 4th. He's got enough Stalkers to do so. And with the Oracles behind, he has cover from the Zerglings. Target. And the stasis triggered. Hatchery at half. Counterattack. Didn't find much. Another stasis. Helping his own things out. Dueling back and forth. The Queen's on the front line. But they're the ones who can take the hits. Another stasis. The Stalker count thinning out, but more reinforcements are coming across the map. Infestation pit is on the way. Serral loses a couple more drones put into buildings, rather. The stasis at the back. That's a pretty big one, but I think there's enough Hydras. He's reached the critical mass, and he has the creep spread to slither off of. Serral now has the numbers. Storm just started for herO. He's got to buy himself some time, and unfortunately some of the Stalkers tripping over each other. The Zerglings at their ankles holding him down, and herO has to do a fighting retreat, a tactical withdrawal back to his 3rd Nexus. Some Templar on the way, a couple more Stalkers picked off. Serral is very well aware of the northern base. The Zerglings working on the pylon almost halfway through. Serral does not have enough army supply to just bludgeon herO right now, and Storm is being chrono boosted out. There's a lurker den behind, though, and a hive has begun. So that late game tech potential for Serral is on the way, and herO, well, he's keeping up with them. And the fact that the supplies are this close, herO's not slouching. It seems we've come back. We've bookended this series with another full-on macro game. We're going to get to a hive. There's going to be 4 bases for herO, but barring a mothership teleporting into the main, I think this time around, Serral will be able to get that late-game army composition without a massive speed bump. A massive hurdle, like the mothership helping to destroy most of the army and a bunch of the tech. That was such a defining characteristic. Now we get to see, yes, herO's kept the pressure on. Yes, herO does have a dangerous army, but he does not have a fleet beacon. I don't think he has a robotics facility. He does not. That means no easy detection. I mean, the Oracles, yes, but no Immortals, no Observers. He's reliant on the Revelation. There's the wraparound. There's only a couple Templar abandoned by the Blink Stalkers. The Storm's to ward away. There's only one more in reserve. It's still a good one as the Queen's waiting through it. More Templar coming up. Revelation. And the Templar running low on energy. That seems like it was the last one there. The Stalker's pushed up against the last. And another stasis will actually catch half the army. Stop right there, criminal scum. He's able to move around the side. herO somehow still aggressive, despite having such a fragile army made out of Stalkers, Oracles, Templar, and Dreams. More storms being laid down, but no detection on those. No detection on the lurkers means eventually they can scamper their way forward. Back at home, a fleet beacon is on the way. herO with a second Stargate as well, but again, his tech is significantly delayed from when you usually see it. That is allowing him to keep his edge on the field, but it's not going to help him with a well-rounded composition as time goes on. Another good storm whittles down the Hydralisk, but Serral grinds out a 50 supply lead. 81 drones. The lurkers are closing in, slicing through the zealots, and he kept the 5th base intact. herO only has 4. He doesn't have that late game economy that Protoss would enjoy. You can't build everything. You can still build plenty. How many gateways? 9 gates. 2 Stargates, not a single robo. No Immortals to complement the ground army composition. A mothership is in production. Tempest as well joining it. Missile attacks level 2 now completed for Serral. He's got the fixins, lurker range, and he's gonna have the lurker burrow speed. Massive zealot counterattack and storms to hold the line. The zealots slicing through the Zerglings may make their way to the Hydras. herO fighting a delaying action. The mothership's only halfway done though. A revelation. Yes, those are lurkers. What is he gonna do about it? Serral coming forward. He's on top of the base now. The zealots managed to wander by and actually get some of the drones, but I don't think they're going to get enough damage to really make a dent. And it looks like herO is actually abandoning his 3rd Nexus, pushed all the way back. And here's the thing, he hasn't done anything to Serral back at home. He hasn't cut down on the drone count. He hasn't cut down on the economy, and he will be cut down if he's not able to do so. Lurkers moving over to the 4th base. Serral wasting absolutely no time and pressing the advantage. The Oracles, again, the revelation. Those are lurkers, but what are you going to do about it? The Zealots slicing through. The Templar out in front. Are you going to storm your own Zealots? Maybe a little. But the lurkers eviscerating the Zealot line. Serral up 60 supply. The Tempest knocked out of the sky. And herO asking, why don't I have any units left over? The mothership with active cloaking will save the day. And everything burns. Carrick is burning. And we have to ask ourselves that eternal question. Have you liked and subscribed? And at what cost? herO down 60 supply, down 25 probes. And he's got a serious problem. He tried to go toe-to-toe with Serral, and Hydras don't have any toes at all. Classic mistake. And Serral, gonna let herO bottle up in his base. He's not gonna keep pounding on this army. He knows that herO, his economy is shattered. His army is broken. His resolve untouched. But that's not enough. It's not enough. herO has taken the world champion to 7 games. But the finisher is ready to close. What a series it has been. With Tempest overhead, the mothership. Now, there's a dream. The army supplies are dangerously close. There's no corruptors as the spire isn't completed. There's still a vanishing chance that herO can power through with the most powerful army. But there's no Immortals. He doesn't even have a robo. He has the Oracles with the army. The Lurkers actually getting taken out quickly. The counterattack is going to cut out what little economy remains. The Tempest shelling through. Gonna knock out even more of the Lurkers, but the Hydras and Lurkers on the other side. Partitioning his army to knock out herO's economy while leaving plenty back at home. Yanks it a Tempest. Get over here. But, well, Serral, his reinforcements have to gather. herO cutting through to the heart of the swarm. The Vipers getting dangerously close to the Templar, but down goes the last Archon. The Tempest already badly bruised. 13 more Hydras in production. The Storms eventually He loses one of the Viper's parasitic bomb on the mothership, the active cloak, and herO in utter darkness. Why won't you die? The Tempest lived! herO! With 5 Templar, 5 Tempest! He storms himself! It's over. Serral! Okay, I said it's... Oh, he's attacking. Fights to the last unit. Ricky has joined the production tab. GG! WP! Serral holds it together when herO tried to rip it all apart. Wow. A great day to be a herO fan, and a terrible day to be a herO fan. Imagine all the people. Imagine not losing 4 oracles to Ravagers with Corrosive. I'm sorry, I apologize. I knew I slipped a little on the word choices throughout the series, in one way or another. herO slipped a little in certain ways as well. Serral. Also, that was legitimately, I say this so often, but I mean, we've gotten so good at picking the best games. That's probably my favorite series of the year. Yeah. I hated it, and I loved it. It made me feel so much more than any other series. I don't think you could ever take that away from any of these players. And why would you? Hopefully, if you got the means and motivation, you take yourself to Patreon or YouTube membership, though. With thank you to our meal tier patrons. If you got the means and motivation. Big Jig, Devin, Dor, Drac, Kate, Mario, Suit, glad you still enjoy bringing in the extra minnows. But I hear liking and subscribing is still free for now. Thank you to Maestros of the Game, Comeback TV for putting on this incredible event. herO with 2 lives and still failing to take down Serral, but getting so close. If you come at the king, you best not miss. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.
Thank you.